Hello and welcome to the Rugby League Pom-Cast with myself, Johnny, and of course, this week, he had a week off last week, we subbed in AJ, the super sub. We have Mr. Sam Leckie back on with us. How are we doing, Sam? How was your week of
Yeah,
work
well, I
in
know we're going to
Bedlam
get
last
into a
week?
lot of what I did last week, but a lot of it was hanging around at Broncos training and trying to figure out what the hell was going on there. So we'll get into that soon. But yeah, it was a busy week. It's sort of getting to that busy time of the rugby league calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's that confusing point for a lot of Brits because it's a concept that we don't have. We tried it with Lancashire, Yorkshire. It is the origin period, which we'll get into a lot later on. That is usually the big news of the week. But last week there was even bigger news that outshone everything that there is to do with it because the Broncos got in trouble with Peter. Yes, it is the news that has overshadowed rugby league, the deepest and darkest of stories. The mascot, the live
It's Buck. It's
mascot, is his
Buck.
name Bronk or what's
Yeah.
what's what's Buck? Sorry, the bucking Bronco has been told by Peter to get the sack, to go and live his life on a stud farm, and to get away from this stadiums because it's what was the word? It is
Yeah.
promoting rodeos. It is
Yeah.
overshadowing the. It's cruelty to him
Yep.
having all them people around looking at him, and most importantly, they want them to change their name away from the Brisbane Broncos. Now, this has sent shockwaves around the rugby league community over here. Brisbane Broncos, they were so
Yeah,
stumped
oh
at
yeah,
what
it
to
was a
do,
very
weren't they,
confusing
Sam?
situation for them because they had no idea what they'd done wrong. It was so I got it on Thursday morning. Got an email from I didn't even know I was on the mailing list for what's Peter called? It's the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, I believe. I didn't even know I was on their mailing list, but we get an
Yes.
email from them, and it was titled something along the lines of "Give Buck a break and let him go, let him run free." And I'm like, I'm reading it. I'm like, is this a piss take? Because the first line of it was said as the Broncos prepare for their Friday night game against the Dragons. I'm like, they're not playing on Friday night. What are you talking about? So I read down further, click into everything, and it's all legit. And I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. The very bottom line of the email was that Peter's motto is that animals shouldn't be used for people's entertainment. And so I'm like, well, I got my full
Yeah.
actually figure out, and I was like, well, if you're gonna say that, then we have to change the name of most of the teams in the competition because if you have it could encourage people to go
Yeah.
and ride dolphins
The
or
Cowboys.
like
And the
I'm sure the
Cowboys.
roosters
I
aren't
mean, they're
free
literally.
range. Panthers shouldn't be used in
Yeah,
circus,
the
mate.
cock farming.
It was a piss take, and then went down to Broncos training on Thursday afterwards.
Roosters
No,
are
true,
promoting cockfighting.
and they're not free range, so it's a double whammy. Take them out of the comp. So I went down to Broncos training after that, and Payne Haas was speaking to media, and beforehand I was standing there, and a few of the journos from 9 and 7 and News Corp was standing there, and we're all talking about it and laughing about it. There was one very funny story that we were all reminiscing on of the time that Buck broke his leg when he was doing the lap around Suncorp Stadium, which to be fair makes an argument for
Oh
Peter,
no.
but the Broncos media manager was sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe we'll
the
edit that bit out.
Broncos media manager was sort of like, why do you guys care so much? And we're like, it's funny, like it's funny more than because it just what Peter haven't considered is that if you take Buck out of Suncorp Stadium, all of a sudden the unemployment rate for horses is going to rise. So yeah, so
Oh, hugely.
they haven't thought
It's like
about the
horse
silent
racing.
victims
Get rid of that.
this, mate.
They'll be out on the
Yeah,
streets. They'll be out on the streets. They'll be
yeah,
doing cocaine
fentanyl.
and heroin and crack
Buck gets
by
treated
the end of
so
the day.
well, and like
Ketamine. How did we miss out the one drug that they would love?
Ketamine's like, we shouldn't get into that. But it was just like Buck gets treated so well. He's such, like, that horse. There is, I would say there is not a horse in that.
He's a David Beckham of horses.
This planet that gets treated as well as what Buck does. Like, he's, and like, where does it stop for Peter? Because I'm like, I know, like, Lazio in Italy have got the eagle, and they've got like the falcon. Like, so get rid of that.
So the Crystal Palace.
I've been obsessed recently with the Dean Henderson video of him going 12th again.
Oh yeah,
we won the FA Cup.
Oh, it's not that.
But yeah, so this Buck thing,
it's brilliant, like, to be fair.
No one's taken it seriously, which I don't think was on. I don't. The best part was the letter was sent from like, they don't even work out of Australia. The letter was sent to the Broncos. Dave Donaghy never actually got a letter, the CEO of the Broncos, but
it's American, isn't it?
Apparently to the Broncos, it was like an open letter from a woman that lives in London, and then the media representative that they put up for interviews lives in Thailand. Oh. So they don't even live in Australia. Like, it's so. Clearly, they haven't thought it through.
Well, there you go.
The moral of the end of the story, and it's very disappointing for drama fans, is that Buck's going nowhere, and the Broncos are very happy not being the Brisbane Boomerangs. So that was
praise the Lord
to several rogue storylines coming out of the Brisbane Broncos last week. Yeah.
The Brisbane Boomerangs.
Do they know what Boomerangs were used for?
Because, well, actually.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
They were a hunting device.
Brisbane Boomerangs. The funniest thing about it is you throw them away and they're meant to come back, but
to be fair,
Brisbane this year are not coming back anywhere.
Buck hasn't been particularly busy this year.
Yeah, well, true. That is also true. He's not done many run-arounds after they've scored many tries, because, you know, if anything, the players have been mistreated more than him, according to a certain Marty Tapau, who also, sticking with the Broncos, liked a comment or an Instagram post criticising Michael Maguire, and he got the boot. He got sacked, which is a really strange precedent from a club that, you know, has just recently played Ezra Mann after what he did in the off-season. So, and also they didn't sack who was the player last year? Was it Reece Walsh again, or was it another player who liked to criticising?
Payne Haas liked one of Spencer News posts at the start of the year when they were talking about that. So that might have been
maybe that one. I was on about last year. Teddy Walters, there was a player that liked to post about him,
was like, he can't coach.
He never. Oh, Cobbo, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was he can't coach on, And he's still at the club for now. But Marty Tapau, he's gone. He's out the door. What does that mean for himself? Is he going to go to retirement? Is he going to get a pay-as-you-play contract for the rest of the year somewhere? I mean, if anyone needs middles, it's going to be either St. George or the Bunnies, isn't it?
Going to go anywhere, but they've just
or
Knights had paid $1.5 million for him. I reckon it's probably the end of Marty Topo, to be honest. Unfortunately, like, he's a great player, but the vibe I got from the Broncos last week was that, like when it came out that he'd liked the post from Elijah Taylor, who played in an era under Michael Maguire at the Tigers where I think tough love was the only way to go. Like, they were so bad. So you can sort of see why Michael Maguire may have been pretty harsh on his playing group then. But then, Marty Topo likes the post, and I don't think it's because of the post that he's been let go. Like, I think they were just looking for it. They were like... They're looking for it.
I think they've just found an excuse.
Cap space. He's on about $300,000 a year, so that's something. Like, it's pretty close to
Was
it. I think they were just looking for an excuse, but it definitely begs the question, right? And I heard Brandon Smith actually talking sense on Jammer's podcast the other day, talking about Michael Maguire.
I heard this one.
It's on the players, man. Like, the players have got to go into this accepting that they need to jump on board with what the coach is trying to build, because and I've spoken to so many people about this week. Like, Seabold didn't work. Bennett didn't. Well, Bennett went to South. Seabold didn't work because he was too tactical, and he was like maybe I think overthought was something that was thrown around at the time. Like he overcomplicated things. Kevy was too soft on them apparently and too friendly, and that's why they had problems there. And now Michael Maguire's too hard. Like, when are you going to start looking at the players and being like, all right, it's time for the players to take a bit of responsibility for the fact that they're not winning games?
It seems like, massively. Yeah. Seems like Man United at the minute.
Hey, Europa League final tomorrow
morning.
With
the way they're going, they're just going
Europa
through
League
coaches
final tomorrow
left,
morning.
right, and centre. Well, yeah, I'm in work. Bang on 5 o'clock, just as kick-off happens. So that's fun. I'll be having one eye on there and one eye elsewhere, which is good when I've got a lazy eye in it.
Sure. Stop. Yeah.
If Spurs lose, he's gone. And also, staying with the Broncos, man, it's a hat trick. They've got the hat trick this week because a video has emerged of Reece Walsh with a boxing glove giving his mate a good punch to the face. Now, the people that are annoyed at this, they really need to get out and get some friends. Go out and have a beer.
No, a beer might be too much.
Enjoy yourself because you obviously, it's too exciting. It's too exciting. You're very much right. Maybe like you said, a shandy, or maybe just a lime and soda bitters. Lime bitters,
a virgin rum and coke.
Something with like barely anything in. Because it can't be a Bloody Mary because the spice will kill them off.
The type of people that brush their teeth too hard.
What a non-story this is.
It's very much a non-story. Yeah, look,
Dave
Donaghy was on our show on 9 Radio this morning and was like, look, it's very much boys will be boys, but I think the club's fuming about it, and I know why. It's because Buzz Rothfield this year, right, as he had it out for Michael Maguire at the start of the year when players were spewing in buckets, and it's like, I've done C-grade pre-seasons where I've spewed in buckets. It's just what happens at footy training when you're training in summer. And then obviously the boat story came out, and then they had an off-the-record conversation which Buzz published, and now the reason the club is furious is because there's clearly a journo that has it out for the Broncos and will write anything negative that they possibly can. Do not give them another opportunity to. And then this morning, this Reece Walsh video.
Was it Rothfield that did the fight one last year as well?
No. The Carrigan
the
and
fight
that
where
was
just
the
messing about.
Here.
No,
but like obviously,
was it?
Buzz Rothfield's got it out for them. Don't give him any sort of fuel to that fire. And what the video that Reece Walsh posted obviously has, because Buzz has come out today and written an opinion piece saying like, oh, this is such bad timing for the Broncos because blah blah blah, and it's a bad look, and we're talking about concussion, and like that's not what you want to see. If that happened on a field, he'd get 9 weeks suspension. But in terms of things that have happened this year with Broncos players, it's certainly not the worst. But it looks like he's going to cop a fine from the club, and that'll be the last that we hear of it. So I genuinely think, don't give it any more airtime, because obviously we've got to talk about it, but the more you talk about it, the more fuel it gives to the fire. It's just a negative. They're losing at the moment, and that if they start winning games, all of that's good. Yeah. If they start winning games,
it's so easy to jump on that.
But at the moment, it's sort of like for the Broncos, it could not have come at a worse time.
Yeah, fair enough. From that perspective, from the club's perspective, it really isn't the greatest. Timing's off, and obviously, but the thing is though, just don't record shit. If you're with your mates and you're having a laugh, just don't record anything. Say, especially if you're a star like that, just say to them, look, we're having a meal, we're having a few bevies at mine and watching the footy. Just don't. Just leave your phones. Drinking. You have to leave your phones.
They weren't even drinking. He literally lost a bet with his housemate.
And, I know. Exactly.
Ben Hunt said the same thing this morning. Don't record it. It's you're not going to get yourself if you're not doing the wrong thing.
Especially if it's
they're
in
not
the
really doing
of your own home, right? As well.
It's literally the only thing that they've done wrong here is post the video at a bad time for the club. If they're winning games and this video gets posted, It's like when Reece Walsh turned around to the kid before the grand final, when he was like, mostly I'm just going to smash you, and Walsh is like, I'll smash your mum. Like, no one wrote anything about that. Like that was all that we saw of that was a video. But now we've got opinion pieces on it, and we've got analysis on it, and it's just like, just let it blow over.
It just shines an unnecessary spotlight on the club, which obviously we've had this week a player leaving in Marty Tapau in last week, and this week it's looking like we're going to lose another player, but it's not at the Broncos. It is looking like Lackie Galvin will finally depart the West Tigers, with them saying they'll accept a fee or a player swap for him. I think we all seen it coming at the time, and I think his reception at last week's game, even when he knocked on even when he scored the match-winning try and then it ended up getting disallowed, he got jeered by the crowd as well. When he went off for the sin bin, he got jeered by some of the crowd. It's not like they were Bunnies fans, they were actually Tigers fans. I think for a 19-year-old lad, like, it's just, it's not the environment for him to thrive, and I think it's probably, they'd be doing right by the player.
Yeah, like it looked like it was going to be okay for a couple of weeks. Like, they beat the Sharks and they beat the Dragons at Magic Round, and then once again, once you start losing games, all of this sort of stuff comes back into the limelight, and it was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly at Campbelltown seeing him get booed. Yeah. Club's giving him permission to negotiate. Him leaving early, I think, is contingent on a couple of things. It'll be whether or not his camp stopped the legal action against the Tigers after he was supposedly bullied at training, after the bullying behaviour, and there was the online things from Taruva and Luai, and there was another player as well, I forgot. And the other thing is that the Tigers need to get something in return. So I have a bold prediction. I think it's going to end up being some sort of three-way swap between the Knights and the Tigers and the Eels. Two theories. Like, who knows if this is going to happen. Two theories.
Dill Brown goes.
Tigers get someone from the Knights, maybe Leo Thompson because he's off to the Dogs next year, and Galvin goes and plays the end of the season at the Knights, and then it's a straight swap Galvin and Brown at the end of this year for next season. Or Parramatta's season's done. Mm-hmm. Do they bite the bullet on Dylan Brown, try and get Lackie Galvin there early, and then Dill Brown finishes the season at the Tigers? That could be a potential way to go. Like, I think ideally for... Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Is the issue. To be fair,
Galvin's deal this year, all the clubs are going to have... All that wherever he goes this year is they're going to have to pay the remainder of his deal for this year, which will be, probably around 400, because what are we, 12 weeks into the year? Don't know. He could very well just finish the year at the Tigers, but he could...
Probably just pay half of it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he could very well finish the season at the Tigers, but I do seriously feel sorry for him, particularly at a time... in Australian sport, when we're talking a lot about mental health, it's a very tough thing to put that kid through.
Yeah, very much so. And I think I can't really summarise it any better than that, other than, you've got to feel for the lad, of this has been him. At 19 as well. No, exactly. And it's been poorly handled by his people around him. Like we've said countless times, it's probably on reflection looked poorly and handled poorly by the Tigers with the way they came out with it and probably breaking the news. I know they wanted to get on the front foot and be open and honest, but it's probably ended up,
I think, the Tigers
not being the right thing to do. But I think the Tigers, they knew his agency. I think they knew his agency were probably going to leak it.
So they said, we're going to offer you $1 million for 5 years, take it or leave it. And then ultimately he left it. But then what's come after that, when the slander on Benji came out and all of that sort of thing, that's all let this get so far out of proportions. And I'll say it once and then hopefully we move on from it. It's the agent's fault. Like, the way the agents handle these things to try and get the most money for their player. Yes, it's trying to get the most money for their player, but also the most money for them. And that's why that we're in the position we're in now with Lachlan Galvin.
Yes, exactly, because his value isn't his value.
Whatever he gets played next year.
So, like, the deal he's going to get isn't his value right now. It's his
whatever he gets
value
paid
in
at Parramatta
2-3
next
years'
year,
time
let's face it, it's going
is
to be
what he's going to
Parramatta, but
get
whatever
now.
Parramatta are paying him next year, that's not his value at the time. Like, Parramatta won't get value for that investment in him for 3 or 4 years.
They'll be paying overs, yeah. And there's no saying then, at the end of a 5-year deal, for example, he could well, if he sticks with his agent now, Mr. Moses, if there's no saying then in 5 years that he
Yeah.
won't do the same thing to Paramount
Well,
and then shop
if they're
around because the
losing,
salary
if
cap
they're
will be
losing
more. Let's
because they're
face
paying
it,
$3
in
million
5
for
years'
2
time.
players, then
And yeah, exactly. So it's a case of then like, oh, where do we go then? And will he move on then? And there's all kinds of theory behind it, but all I can say is,
yeah,
Lockie, please
get through
just
this so we can
ignore the fans. It's like
yeah
what happened with Saints and Lewis Dodd.
yeah.
Just get through the season,
Honestly,
and then they'll
for
hopefully
Lockie, it's like just
end
get
of the
through
year
this so
it'll
that
be
we
gone.
can watch you play, because we all I love watching Lachlan Galvin play, but it's just at the moment.
Yeah.
The moment we're not talking about how good
Yeah.
the kid is, we're talking about his manager and his attitude and the amount of money that he's going to be overpaid. So yeah, it's very grim. But hopefully this moves quickly and we can get some sort of resolution.
Absolutely. So on we go, and we're moving on from Lockie because there is a bit of we went on about it a few weeks ago. The coaching merry-go-round that is soon to be upon us. We have seen yesterday in the Super League, Steve McNamara got sacked by Catalan, left by mutual consent. He got sacked after losing 40 points to 0 to Saints, who have struggled to score more than 3 tries in the last 18 months per game. So he's gone. So this could well have triggered a Super League coaching merry-go-round. But over in Australia, that new team that is coming through, the Perth Bears or the Western Bears, I think it's the Western Bears, isn't it, that's going to be called? But they keep being referred to by speaking about the Perth Bears, did you see that
Yes, Bears Perth.
gay
Yeah.
man's club, the Bears Perth, that were like, we've had about 12 new members from out state.
Yeah.
We never normally get out.
Why are these guys from North Sydney? Yeah.
Do you guys know what we are? Oh, I've never laughed so hard in all my life when I read that article. And then the guy went on the radio, like the head of the Bears Perth. Oh man, it was such a funny interview. He was like, "Oh, they're more than welcome to come along after a game. We'll have if any players want to come, we're more than happy for that." Oh, what a
only
beautiful
rugby league.
little
Like, only
story
rugby
that
league.
was in the rugby league world. Only in rugby league. Only in rugby league could that happen. But the coaching front runners have changed. It was Brad Arthur all the way.
Yeah.
He even bought
He's also got a house on the Gold Coast.
It's all going.
Just in case.
He's probably got one in Newcastle as well. But just in case. But it is now the front runners are a coaching powerhouse with 2 unsuccessful coaches in Mal Meninga and Sam Burgess. So
I'd say Mal's pretty successful.
Well, in international, domestic, rep very much so. But I think I could win with that Australian side.
Yeah.
And Sam Burgess being co-coaches is the apparent rumour. Now, if Sam Burgess doesn't win at Wembley and he doesn't win at Old Trafford this year, he will be probably the only Super League coach that has gone over to the NRL not winning anything.
He won as a player.
In his time. Yeah, but I mean, is that a proven coach? Good players don't make good coaches, as we've found out on many occasions. With Mal Meninga, will this powerhouse be a powerhouse?
I like it.
Is the question.
I'm not going to lie,
if it does go.
And the reason I like it is because the plan is for Mal to coach the first year, or Mal will take over at the end of the year. Like, if all of this plays out, Mal will take over at the end of the year and run operations, and then Sam will come over, maybe be assistant coach to Mal for a couple of years. Yeah, at the end of his warranty.
At the end of his contract.
End of 26. So, yeah.
So
next year,
yeah.
The reason I like it is because that is how you recruit players. You know what I mean? Like the Dolphins were at a really tough time on the market. Yeah, they did.
Did it
They
with Wolves.
couldn't do it with Bennett, and to be fair to them, it was at a very, very tough time on the market. Like the three players that were off contract really were Smith, Munster, and Ponga. Munster's never going to leave Melbourne. Brandon Smith, I think like he sort of dogged the Dolphins a little bit with his contract deal, and then Ponga,
Yeah,
Ponga, I don't think
he
at
even
that stage was
admitted
ever
that as
going to
well.
leave Newcastle. Like he was very happy at Newcastle. Don't know how happy he is now, but I
Yeah,
think when you look at the players that are going to be off contract going into the first year of the Bears, and you've got like Hughes, Pappenhausen, there are so many players that are going to be available, and
yeah.
first
There's
of all,
loads.
the ability to go and play for a foundation club, like that's a pretty cool opportunity for players. The other thing is you want to go play under a coach. Mal Meninga, yes, he hasn't coached NRL footy, but he coached the most successful period of Origin ever, and now he's the Australian coach, and he's an immortal. Like, are you going to say no if Mal calls you and says, I'm keen for you to come play at the Bears, live in the beautiful city of Perth, and go to the beach every day and play under Mal
Yeah,
Meninga?
and not
Yeah, yeah.
and no one
So
recognises
I
you
like it.
because you've got that Melbourne dream. Because like that's why Melbourne attracts a lot of players, is because they can walk down the street and hardly anyone notices them. Whereas in Sydney, in Brisbane, like pretty much everyone goes, "Oh my God, there's Reece Walsh," or "Oh my God, Nathan Cleary out in Penrith," or "Oh my God, there's whoever," and it's kind of like they've got that
Yeah,
celebrity factor over on these
yeah,
shows, where it's over on that western coast. They could pretty much become anonymous, which is why a lot of players like the Super League when they come over. Like I know Ben Barber loved it over here. 'Cause, like you could you're out with the limelight, you can
yeah,
get away with a
yeah,
lot more stuff effectively because there's no like, for example, if the Reece Walsh incident happened over
yeah,
here, no one
yeah,
even
yeah, true.
cares. like, you know what I mean? Like, and it will potentially be the same over in the Perth media, but obviously the rest of
Yeah,
Australian media will take
I
over.
like
But
it. Yeah,
it's a big drawing factor because they're getting good money, they're
yeah,
anonymous, and they've got a
yeah.
beach that's
I
20
like
minutes
it.
away
And
no
and you
matter
look
where
at
they
some
live.
of the players.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and compare that to the other side that's coming in.
yeah.
Like,
Just depends how
it's
much
a
tax
big
you like
drawing
paying.
factor.
And some of the players that are off contract, you could look at like Jaden Campbell, Keanu Kinney would have
That's
done some
true.
work with Mal Meninga when he was head of footy at the Titans. So, like, if
Yeah,
he's coaching, then all of a sudden there's a fullback that you can sign who would do a much better job if they weren't at the Gold Coast Titans. And then, and there's Jerome Hughes that I mentioned.
yeah,
I don't know about him leaving, but I mean the option is there. There's plenty of options. And the other thing is you're going to get a lot of Queensland players that just have looked up to Mal Meninga their entire life that would be keen to play under him. So I like, if that
yeah,
is how
true.
they go, I like it. Feel bad for Brad Arthur, but there'll be a job that pops up in the next couple of years, I reckon.
Yeah, and yeah, I reckon once the Israel conflict ends and that one way
Mm.
flight comes back to Perth, there'd be a lot of English
Yeah.
players looking to go over as well potentially. So I mean, 16 hours to London, and then you're only a 50-minute
Saw
flight
you had a
up to
saw
Liverpool,
you had a bit of
Manchester
Twitter.
from there
You had
on.
a bit of
So
Twitter beef
that's another
talking
drawing
about
factor.
English players getting recruited by the new NRL clubs.
Yeah, like I don't see like
Yeah,
the issue with it, to be honest. But it was like oh, someone went, oh, Jammer, he's talks about the Super League and yet he wants them all to take them all over. I was like, he's
yeah,
talking about a hypothetical draft where, which isn't necessarily even going to be a thing. Like that squad they put out isn't. And he just said there's a lot of good talent in the English Super League that you could attract, which is true. Like the likes of there's a lot of players over there that wouldn't necessarily want the 24-hour flight because you've got to have a stopover to Sydney or 22 hours to Brisbane. But if you go looking at a one-way flight from London and that's 16 hours, you go, that's actually not too bad. Like, I've been on a 14-hour flight before. I can
yeah.
manage an extra 2 hours. You
100%.
know what I mean? Like, it's it's a big drawing factor for them English players and your top English players to go. Actually, it's not too far away from home, really.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, and with modern technology anyway and stuff like that, you've got that. But one thing they won't entice are the likes of your Jerome Luais, who have such a strong family connection in Sydney. Them sort of players that are off contract, you can kind of say, yeah, we're not going to recruit them. They're kind of a pipe dream in that sort of sense. But like you said, your Pappenhausen's, Hughes maybe, but he's got a bit of back trouble, hasn't he? That
Yeah.
the flying
See, that's
may
always
well
that's
trigger.
going to be
So
the
then you're
issue
looking at a bit
for
of
the
more
recruitment in Perth is the flight. Yeah.
flying. And how would they even do the draw for them? Would it be a case of like, look, we're going to do 4 weeks base training in Sydney, and we'll do 4 fixtures here, and then 4 weeks in Perth? Because like it's
Well, they
hard
can
for
just sort
family
of
and domestics as well. Or
they
are you
can
going to
just
do
sort of
2
look
weeks,
at the.
2
I
weeks,
think they
2
can
weeks,
look at
2
the
weeks?
model that
They
yeah,
need
where
the
they don't
Brisbane
leave
draw.
where they
They
don't
need the
leave
Broncos
Queensland.
draw where they're at home for about 7 or 8
Yeah.
games and then go and then
Well,
go
yeah.
down
I
to
mean,
Sydney.
they can take the formula, I guess, that they've used for Freo and West Coast in the AFL, who have both been successful clubs in the way that they do the draw. And like sometimes they have 2 or 3 week blocks at a time where they're at home and then have to travel for a little bit. And at the end of the day, you're getting paid pretty well. You're not flying economy when you're flying around the country like that. And I think that will be the only sticking point for them. Like it works perfectly for the broadcasters when Perth is
Yeah.
2 hours ahead. So like you can play a primetime game, which is prime time in Perth too. Like it's just about how they work out the travel, I suppose. Yeah,
3 hours at some points of the season as well. So like the it's perfect for them because they've got the Kiwi fixture, they're 3 hours in front. So that's perfect for the 6 o'clock slots. They've then got, the Perth slots, which are 2 hours behind, which are again, you could even stick a very late game on and have a triple header on like on a Friday night and have an 8 o'clock
yeah,
kickoff in Perth and a
yeah,
10 p.m. kickoff here. You know what I mean? Like they've got so many ways, and English fans, it'll probably be better for them to be viewing it as well because I think they're only 7 hours ahead at these points of the year, and like you've just got so much for broadcasting that you can do, and it's a great avenue to look in, other than potentially the other club.
yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
even trickier for that club though. But again, that's another coaching conundrum. Who do you go for? I mean, the only one I can think of
Yeah, or
potentially is
Wayne.
Adrian Lamb, just because of
Or
his
Wayne.
connection.
I don't.
Yeah, because didn't he coach the
No, but I know that
team
I know that he said
at one
he'd be
point
interested.
a few years ago? Who was
Yeah.
Holbrook?
And
Holbrook did the
Jason
PNG team.
Jason
He
Demetrio's
coached
there
the
now.
PNG team. And Dimitri, yeah. So they've got options, I suppose. But that coaching conundrum really only goes to another one, and that is the appointment of Blake
Blake
Laurie,
Laurie.
Daly. Sorry, really, Blake Laurie. I know Laurie Daly.
Jesus,
There's too
you
many
made me
Lauries.
shit myself then.
Dude, they raised a few eyebrows, and it is now he's back on the Origin scene with Mr. Billy Slater taking the reins of New Queensland, battling it out. It's been a whirlwind of a selection event with a couple of ominous?
Yeah.
No, obscure, maybe, selections, and a couple of noticeable absentees. The biggest one as a surprise from the Queensland
Yeah.
perspective for me was Toya being picked at the centres. Like, I'm unsure how it will
Yeah.
go against Latrell
Yeah.
Mitchell on the other centres position because he's a beast at Origin, and it's like it's going to be a big coming of age,
big time, but
game for Toya, especially with his 2 previous ACLs, and he had another injury, didn't he, over the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah,
so
I think
it'll
he's
be
ready
a
for it
big
though.
test for him.
There's been players before that have been picked after 10 games. Like it's not like he's alone in that sort of thing. It's going to be a tough, like, yes, he's marking Latrell Mitchell in his first Origin game, his 11th game at the top flight. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough, but he's so talented. Like, and if it weren't for those injuries, he would have been playing first grade 2 years ago. To be honest, so I think it's an inspired selection, really only made because Selwyn Cobbo pulled up a bit lame with a wrist issue after the game against the Dragons, so they kind of had to go, you know what, I don't think we're quite confident that he's going to be up to play, and so Val Holmes had to shift out to the wing, and Murray Talangi was the other one that got injured, so Val Holmes had to shift out to the wing, and they ended up going with Rob Toyer, which it's going to be interesting, but Billy's done it with young players before. Like Reece Walsh was picked after pretty much 10 good games in first grade when he first moved to the Broncos for his first series. He was picked after like 7 games, but that was when he did his hammy before the game, and then we had the whole Ronaldo Molitalo situation in that series. But
oh, yeah, I remember that.
God, I hate saying it because it makes me cringe, but when players put on a Queensland jersey, things change. So, don't. We need to talk about that next week. But I think the...
especially up there.
The Queensland side is good. It's a really, really good team. I like Beau Fermor on the bench.
Good all-round team, I reckon.
Definitely deserves his shot. I could almost see him ending up starting instead of Jeremiah Nanai, and Nanai potentially comes off the bench as a sort of impact, because when I look at Queensland, like other than the clear matchups where it's like, right, Rob Toyer and Daly Cherry-Evans are going to have to handle Latrell Mitchell and Angus Crichton. Like that's alarm bells a little bit, but the only thing that really sticks out to me with Queensland is that they don't have a lot of impact off their bench. Like Tom Dearden is picked as a 14, but he's not going to be an impact player, I don't think, in the way that
They've got really two second rowers as well.
Liero's one of those guys that has been knocking the door down for a couple of years with his performances at Melbourne. But I look at the New South Wales bench, and it's like the debutant Max King, who just club form got him picked there. He's sort of your Jake Trbojevic replacement. Like if the tide's against you, you throw Max King on there, and he's just going to tackle himself silly. But then you've got so much impact if New South Wales can win that ruck in Connor Watson coming on with his speed, Spencer Leniu coming on and doing what he does, Hudson Young playing the way that he's playing this year. Like that's a good bench in Origin where it's gonna be tough, and those guys can sort of be the difference. I don't see Queensland having that, but most of this Queensland team picks itself. I mean, Ponga will grow to that top level like he always does in Origin, even though he's been a little bit out of form at Newcastle this year. Coates, Tabuai-Fidow, Holmes, Munster, Cherry-Evans all pick themselves. The starting pack sort of picks themselves, like Cotter, Carrigan, Tino, Harry Grant, and Fodawaker. They were all always going to be there. So it's a good Queensland side. I think they'd be spewing that they don't have Tom Gilbert available, because he would be the only he'd be sort of the only one that I think would come into this side. Outside of that, the other one may be Corey Horsburgh, but outside of that, it's a very, very good team.
Horsburgh's form this year. Like, surprised he didn't get at least an extra man sort of slot. Like you said, if you want impact,
like a bloke that's going to come on and run
off the bench, I'd probably have put him in,
mix things up a little bit.
Literally, just go in and doesn't give a shit about his body, effectively. Because
it's a good thing for Canberra.
That is Corey
Canberra, literally, for the whole Origin period, looks like they're only going to be missing Hudson Young. So, like, teams like that, they've got a massive opportunity in the next few weeks to genuinely consolidate a top 4 spot. Same as maybe like the Sharks and the Warriors. And the Warriors too. Like Barnett's going to be the only one from the Warriors. Maybe Kurt Capel, depending on how things go in game 1 for Queensland.
Yeah.
And then the Sharks, you look at their team and it's sort of like, I don't really see anyone that would be picked for Origin, but that means they're going to be at full strength through the whole rep period. So there's a few teams there that have got a big opportunity. Massively. But that's a bit of a tangent. But the Queensland side is strong.
Yeah, and it's crazy though when you think about that New South Wales side because they've got no paying hearts, and yet they've still got such brute force and brute strength coming both in
Yeah,
the starting 13 and coming off the bench. And also the work ethic is one thing that I think Daly's
yeah,
really gone in on, which is one of the reasons why he hasn't picked a notable absentee in Terrell May. His attacking numbers have been absolutely sensational. His effort
mate.
in
He went
attack has
mate.
been sensational, but apparently, according to one of his advisors
He
in
went and
Craig
made 70
Bellamy, it's his
tackles and didn't
defensive
miss one on
efforts
the weekend.
that has let him down on the
Tyrell
selection.
May. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, that's only because he was
Oh,
third man in on a lot of them.
it was
Apparently,
pretty good.
according to reports and stuff, that he doesn't
What
make enough
front row?
first man
Show me a front rower
tackles,
that
and
does.
I don't believe that.
Like seriously.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Nathan
Very
Hindmarsh
rare
broke
that
records
they'll make
being
40
third man in, and
plus
he's an all-time
one
great.
man
So,
tackles.
like, let's be honest. The New South Wales side. God, there's some meters in that team, like a lot of meters. Their back five are meter eaters. Payne Haas,
Huge.
we know, is a meter eater. A couple of questions about whether or not he's going to be fit, to be honest, Payne Haas, but I guess they're going to give him every opportunity. He didn't train today, but they'll give him every chance. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I said, like, even without him, they'd still have brute force because they'd have I still can't
Utuikamanu,
pronounce it.
yeah.
Otike
Yeah.
Toya Kamanu
Yeah.
from the Melbourne Storm coming up
Yeah.
onto
To
the
be honest,
bench and probably
if
Max
Payne
King
Haas can't
starting.
play,
You'd assume.
I almost make Queensland
Um,
favourites because they win that forward pack battle.
ooh,
It's a very very different. It's a very, very different looking New
even
South
without the
Wales
impact.
team if the first 20 minutes of that game are going to be Fodaway, Coutinho, and Carrigan up against Barnett, King, and Yo. Like, Barnett, King, and Yo, good players, but I don't think they're quite at that level of
Yeah.
in the Origin arena of what those three can do. So I guess that's going to be one to watch over the next week or so. Other one is, how do Mitch Moses and Nathan Cleary play together? Yeah.
Gel. And that is the biggest question. Will any of them even double up as well or triple up with kind of the origin period and their own clubs underperforming? That's
Yeah.
also a big ask from them. And whether it's going to be asked of them is another story altogether. But will they gel? They are very
Yeah.
similar and very different. And that is all I can really say on the matter because they're both similar and kind of got similar kicking styles. They've got similar sort of organisational plays, but I think
Well, he
Mitch
started as
Moses
a
can
six.
play a running half if
Yeah.
called upon.
And played a bit of
Yeah,
fullback
exactly.
too.
So I think one thing that has to be said though is Laurie Daly has got to go in and go, right, Nathan, you're the organiser. Moses, you sit back. Or Moses, you're the organiser.
I
Cleary,
think,
you go
yeah,
and just do your running game. You
yeah.
know what I mean? There has to be one
And
definitive organiser in that team.
I don't think
And I
either
think
of them
that's
will
got
have
to
a
be part of
problem
the game
taking a
plan.
backwards step for the purpose of the Origin team. And I think it'll be Cleary that ends up being, like as it's been named, Cleary will end up being the halfback and the chief playmaker. And Moses' running game is underrated. Like there was that game against Newcastle when he did back up last year where he scored 2 tries. One of them was off a scrum, one of them was just off general play, where he burnt Dane Gagai a couple of times in that game. Like Moses run and his running game in Origin last year, where like he scored that try, which sealed the win basically for the Blues in the decider at Suncorp. So that's a part of his game because he's become such a gun first receiver and kicker and manager of the game. His running game still gets underrated a little bit, and I think it will be good for him to have that sort of responsibility to just like to run the footy and play off the back of what Nathan can create. Other thing is, there's been some series in the past when it's been Cleary and Luai where the kick pressure is different in Origin to what it is at club level, and particularly the 2020, particularly
Don't get that
the
time on the ball.
2023 series. where even 2022 to an extent, where Cleary had to do all of the kicking basically because Jerome Luai at the time wasn't really a noted in-game kicker, and it put a lot of pressure on him because they knew that that was the one kick option. So at that time, I was talking about Jack Whiten playing 5'8" and being a different option. But what it does is now you've got two genuine kicking options in Moses and Cleary, even Latrell Mitchell to an extent. If you want that left foot option who can put up like towering bombs, like what he was doing against the Broncos a couple of weeks ago. So they've definitely got those options there, which I like New South Wales having. And it's just going to be I have absolutely no doubt that that Moses will be happy to make the sacrifice to be that to be the second in command kind of playmaker, but it's just about Laurie making sure that message is very, very clear.
Yeah, and that will be the problem, because we don't want one like. At least we've not got a situation like last year where we had. I just had his name in my head.
Nicho Hines.
The scrum half for Cronulla. Nicho Hines, where you just had him being wasted as a 14 who came on for like 10 minutes. And like in the second game, was it? And then he started the first game. He came on for like 10 minutes. It was just a waste of a sub. At least we haven't got that now. We've got Connor Watson coming off the bench. You've got Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, and Max King. You've got Impact coming on with Young, because the season he's had this year, Jesus, man, he's gonna monster it up. Like if Crichton is, it's just such a good lineup. This on the edges, I mean, like you've just got your second rowers. You've got Crichton and Mitchell, probably two of the best centres there. Like it's just going to be that they're your biggest threats. But obviously, then you've got Brian Tahoe, who's only recently come back from injury. You've got Zach Lomax, who's very much only just come back from a broken leg.
Even Dylan Edwards has missed a bit of footy.
Like it's even Edwards has missed a few. So you've got a few coming back from injury that question marks will be upon them. One person I thought was very unlucky, especially with the news coming out of the Queensland camp that Cobbo was missing out of the series, was I really thought they may have kept Holmes there, moved Coates out to the left, and put Xavier Savage in at the wing. He's gone incredible this year.
Last couple
I thought
of weeks,
he was incredibly
there was the first
unlucky.
half against the Dolphins, and then eventually the loss against the Bulldogs, where he came up with a couple of pretty ordinary errors, and I think that's what led Bill to leaving him out. Because Xavier Savage playing awesome footy at the moment, but that is the one area of his game that he needs to clean up, and he will. Like every time he makes an error. Every time he makes an error. I think
he's only 23, isn't
he? So that'll fix you up. That'll fix you up right smart. But
exactly.
He'll be there or thereabouts.
Xavier 23.
He'll play Origin. He'll play Origin at some
point.
Only
just turned 23 as well. Jeez. Yeah, he has to. I don't know why Des Hasler's come up when it says Xavier Savage. Why has he come up? I've just Google searched Xavier Savage and it said, see also Des Hasler.
You need to stop Googling Des Hasler so that you can look at him and hate him. Because you Google the Titans too much when you're ranting about them.
I know. Well, that's the thing, innit? I'm a serial hater. I'm a full-time hater of the Titans. What can I say?
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, mate. And as we go into this Origin period, I've got to ask you, game one, who comes out on top? Put your journalist hat on and be neutral. Take off your Blues cap. Theoretical cap.
I think. Okay.
He's having an existential crisis. If you're not viewing.
I'm going to show my working
on
here.
The cameras.
I think Queensland win game one, but I think New South Wales win the series because you've got game two's at a neutral.
I hope for a decider.
Perth, because it was Melbourne in last year. Yeah, so it's in Perth.
Yeah, I booked flights to Perth, so I hope it is.
And then game three's in Sydney.
So it's in Adelaide.
I think yes, Queensland win game one, New South Wales wins game 2 and 3. I think Queensland win game 1 because New South Wales have picked a team where it looks like if they're going to win, it's going to be a blowout. And I just don't see that happening in game 1 when you've got a new halves combination, a couple of players just coming back from injury that there's some questions over, and potentially missing Payne Haas as well. Whereas when you look at Queensland, they've got a side where they will battle and battle for 70 minutes, and then when that opportunity comes up to win the game, it's going to be one of Ponga, Grant, or Cameron Munster that ices that moment because they've been there and done it before. So I think that's what we're going to see in game 1, and it's going to break my heart, and then it's going to be a very stressful couple of weeks leading into game 2. But I think that's how Queensland win game 1, and New South Wales go in and win game 2 and 3, and Nathan Cleary wins man of the series. Yes,
so it's going to be a replay of what
Cleary
happened
instead of
last
Moses
year,
being there.
is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Just the decider of the...
No send-offs.
Yeah.
Please, no send-offs.
And, so I'm going to take you... Fingers crossed. But I'm going to... because if there is a send-off, your job,
you'll
job
appreciate
next week
this.
will be horrific.
Joseph...
Because it'll be
Joseph Swaliti.
Trying to get it. Go on.
Everyone remembers game 1 last year. He's actually copping a fair bit of criticism in the rugby world at the moment. He's got a broken jaw at the moment, so I hope he's recovering well because the Wallabies need him. But he's copping a bit of flack at the moment because he hasn't changed his tackling style from league. So there's a couple of times where he's flown in and nearly taken someone's head off, like what he did to Reece Walsh playing Super Rugby. So that could be something to watch when the Lions series rolls around.
Well, I won't be watching that, but if you do like that sport, please look out for Suoliki's mammoth tackling style.
Yes.
I'm going to take you back to last year. Go on. I'm going to take you back to last year, right? Because if this predicament happens again, like you predicted, the emotions, will they be similar is what my comparison is. So I'm going to take you back last year.
Yes, I remember it well.
Queensland won game 1.
Yep.
You worked for 9 up in Brisbane. How was the next day in work?
I had to host...
After that game 1.
So I had about... a lot of beers at the pub watching their game on the Wednesday night, and then on the third... No.
Because you went on the morning show then, was you? You was on...
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at that point for 9. And on the Thursday night, I had to host Widewater Sports, filling in for Peter Pasoltis, who normally does it. He was calling the Women's Origin game that night. So... But I go on that show, and obviously everyone in the sport world is talking about the Swaliti send-off. And so I'll talk you through my thought process. Yeah. That night, I was fuming. I was like, nah, that wasn't a send-off. Walsh slipped. This is about, like, I'd been at the pub. The game started at 8. I'd been at the pub since about 4:30. So it's like, and that happened 4 minutes into the game. So let's say...
You're well oiled at that point.
3 hours and 34 minutes worth of drinking before that point when Swally took Reece Walsh's head off. And I'm having arguments with all of my mates. Yeah, arguments with all my mates going, no, it's not a send-off. Reece Walsh slipped. They've ruined the game. You should not do that in State of Origin. State of Origin's different to club footy. Fuming. New South Wales obviously lose the game. I had a little bit of hope. At one point because Queensland sort of were like, shit, yeah, we're just going to cruise to victory here. And then I wake up on the Thursday morning, very, very dusty, knowing that I have to host the show that night. So I go back and watch the game again because And I'm like,
sober eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So it was okay because I'd accepted the fate and I'd mellowed out on it, and that was all. That was all okay.
Yeah. So this year, it probably won't be a similar circumstance. I'm assuming you work in the game.
I actually don't know. That's
doing the morning show next
to be
day.
confirmed. But I'll be at the game because I've got my media pass. I just don't know where I'll be. I'll do the same thing as... Probably shouldn't say this and something that will go online, but I'll do the same thing as what I did when we caught up at Magic Round, where I had my media pass and I just walked in the stadium and kept seat hopping.
Walked around. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'd do the exact same, to be fair. But then they went on and won the next 2 games. What was it like Was you at
No,
Suncorp for the decider, I'm
no, I
assuming,
had to.
or
No,
was you in the pub again?
I made a very smart decision. So I
Or
can
was you
be
at
pretty
home?
balanced on footy. Like I'm a Roosters fan, obviously, and grew up being a Roosters fan, and I obviously want to see them win premierships. But I feel like when it comes to them talking about club footy, I can be pretty balanced because there's obviously 16 teams that people support that
Yeah.
you got to be able to focus on and talk about. State of Origin, completely different story. I don't know. It's just what Origin
You're the
is,
most
right?
biased man
Like when
alive.
I go on air, I can sell my soul a little bit, but like it's just what Origin is. It brings out a very dark part in me. So I was like, for that decider, I was gonna go to the pub for that decider, and I was stewing on it all day, and I'm like, I'm actually just gonna watch this by myself. Like I'd love to go to the pub, but I think because like we won so heavily because we won so
You'd
heavily in
need
Melbourne.
good
Like I went
mates
and watched
around you if you
the
did.
Melbourne game at the pub, and that was awesome because like you knew from 20 minutes in that the Blues were going to win. But I just
Yeah.
I'd let myself get to a point in the 2 weeks between those games where I was like, I don't know what we're going to do if I don't know what I'm going to do if we lose this. So I'd stressed about it for so long, and I was just like, yeah.
More
And I'm
importantly, you
like,
don't know what you'd do if you'd win this.
and I made the
You should
decision,
celebrate
which
and
in
get
the end was a
battered.
smart decision, to just sit at home by myself, have a couple of beers, had some cheese and bickies, and watch the game on my own. And yeah, it was the best night of my life. Like genuinely, I remember when Bradman Best scored the try. Like it was when Luai made the break. I stood up off the couch, and the couch pushed backwards as I stood up. And then there was like a little ottoman in front of me that I had been resting my feet on. And he gets the ball to Bradman Best, and I'm like, shit,
Love
Ponga's
it.
there. He's going to tackle him. Best beats Ponga, scores in the corner. I kicked the poor Ottoman over. Like, I was just so pumped. And I was like, yeah, I made a good choice watching it at home. But that's just what Origin is, right? That's what Origin's like, right? Like, it
Absolutely.
brings out every ounce of
Yeah,
passion in you.
that's what it's like for. It's what it's like for the Aussies. For us, it's like,
Yeah.
I'd obviously love the Blues to win, and like I'd be pissed
I,
off if
I just want a good,
Queensland
I just
do
want a
win,
good
but it'd probably
series.
last about 10 minutes.
I just want a
It'd
good
probably last
series.
about 10 minutes, then go. It's all right when you. Yeah, I just want a good bit of entertaining.
Yeah.
It is the
It's the pinnacle
pinnacle
of sport.
of our game,
There's
as
nothing,
some say, but
there's nothing
we
better.
all know it's not. International
Our
game's the
Our
pinnacle,
European
man.
Champions
It's just,
League is the best.
poorly done. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Our OA pensioners. OA European League that is going to obviously come into
Do we get paid
fruition
royalties for that?
in the next 5 years. Well, I'll put it to the
Sweet.
big men and see what we
I'm
get.
going to become a principal sponsor of
See what we
Slovenia.
get. But it's been
Yeah.
Slovenia. I was going to go Montenegro.
No, what's the one with?
I don't know why. Although actually,
no.
Serbia are in the top 10 at the minute.
No
so.
way. No, do they? Because there's a Red Star Belgrade rugby league team. Yes.
Red Star Belgrade. Yeah,
That's awesome. What's the country with the bridge?
Yeah.
With the bridge that you jump off to become a man? Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm gonna go for them.
Bosnia. I don't even know if the Balkan Super League's still going, actually. I swear Serbia were like.
Can you imagine like those Russian weight? Yeah, nice. Can you
Serbia
imagine those
are 9th,
Russian weightlifters and stuff playing?
Serbia are 9th, Netherlands are 11th.
Like those Russian weightlifters.
Yeah, mate. Well, Russia were doing really well at rugby league, and then they went and started a war, and then got banned from all comps.
There's a great
Ukraine were doing well as well.
Yeah, they've got Jet Cleary.
They're too busy getting killed.
They've got Jet
The
Cleary
14th Ukraine, actually. Mate, these world rankings are proper random. Why have Wales gone up from 17th to 12th? Like, what have they done?
Yeah,
at least Malta play international fixtures.
Don't all the Welsh just play for the
like
England?
Malta are 13th. Netherlands are 11th, pretty much. Morgan Knowles is from Cumbria. He represented Wales up until about 23 and then went to England. Kieran Cunningham's probably the only one that stuck with Wales. Obviously, that was during the Great Britain era, though.
But
So
I think we're talking about this. We're
Italy
talking about this
dropped
in
down from
multicultural round
13th, 17th.
when like they show all the flags and stuff, and it's like you can get Averillo playing for Portugal, you can get Painhaas playing for the Philippines.
Mate, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Tino playing for Denmark.
France
with
8th.
Jaden Campbell can play for Denmark as well.
Serbia are above the Cook Islands.
Again,
The Netherlands are 11th.
South Africa have moved up a couple of places. Yeah. Well, they play about 100 fixtures a year.
Yeah.
They're always playing the Netherlands. Like, honestly, if you're in Europe, you could probably go and see a Netherlands game one weekend.
Yeah.
Like, they're everywhere. Not many Dutch in Australia, though, which is surprising. There's a lot of South Africans.
South Africa.
So I'm surprised they aren't higher in the world rankings. But it was banned until 1995 because they allowed black people.
Let's talk about the history.
Yeah,
let's talk about the history of the
apartheid, part of apartheid,
and the Matt Damon movie.
That was it. Yeah. I was thinking of the Daniel Radcliffe one, the Escape from. What was it? Escape from Pretoria?
I have not.
Have you seen that film on Netflix? Very good film.
There's so many
good
movies out there.
Very good film.
You know what I watched the other day, which I forgot was a great movie, Schindler's List.
Yeah, very good. Very good film. I watched the Minecraft movie yesterday, so you know this is the difference between me and Sam. That's the difference. You're watching Schindler's List again. I'm watching Minecraft movie. So, you know.
I'm keeping an eye out for the red dress in the movie, and you're keeping an eye out for the dancing chicken so you can stand up and throw popcorn in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Lava Lava Chicken or whatever the song is. Mate, it was actually low-key a good film.
No.
I enjoyed it a little bit. Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't know how it made $1 billion, but... You know, I quite enjoy
it's people like you, because people like you go on
kids in it, families.
Oh,
no. I didn't go to the cinema and watched it. I've got one of them, if you know what I mean.
You're the one that's ruining the film industry.
Yeah. And
that's why Trump's putting tariffs on movies.
Yeah. True.
Good.
I do pay for sport though, so you can't. You know, Fox.
I was listening to a podcast the other day.
I'm not paying for the Premier League though.
We've fully
They've got too much money.
I was listening to a podcast the other day about Fox and Fox and stuff, where like our KO Fox and stuff. Is that a hunting one? Fox and it's when Pete Hegseth left Fox and Friends. That's they like KO, we pay $40 for it, but if it's at a pub, like when you go to a pub and watch footy, you'll see that there's like a little, I can't believe I didn't know this, there's like a little pint next to the Fox League or Fox Footy. No, well,
yeah. Did you not know that?
Yeah, which is like 40 grand.
That means that they paid for it, for the pub license.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's ridiculous. The UK one's mental. Like it's like £30,000 or something.
That is nuts.
It's like mental. Like, it's unreal, and it's like, well, no wonder pubs are going bust. No wonder
it'd be something in the broadcast deal which is trying to get people to go to games, because it's like, right, we're going to put stuff behind a paywall, and then we're going to make pubs pay for it just in case that there's some, like, that can't pay, and they probably make it more expensive for pubs that are near the ground, and then it's like people are like, oh, fuck it, it's cheaper to, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely will do, because obviously pints are going to be cheaper in and around the grounds compared to in the actual stadiums, and just will be. That's kind of the thing. Although I am tempted to go to the Panthers Leagues Club on Saturday because Jammer's doing a live event there, which will be quite cool because it's at Bathurst.
Yeah,
it's at Bathurst, isn't it? So I'm not going out there. I'm not going. It's a good, like, from where I am, it's like 4 hours.
Hey, you should go to Bathurst. You should go to Bathurst for the supercars.
That'll be a no-go.
I won't be able to make it down, but
I went to, went to Orange, and I can't remember what for, but we went to the Orange region.
You just woke up there,
and then we went to a Mackey's there. Oh, it was on our way to Dubbo
Okay.
because we was on a road trip to Dubbo,
What?
and
why
we
would you
stopped
go
off
to?
at the Mackies at
And
Orange,
why would you go to
which
Dubbo,
is
Jonathan?
a lovely little town to sell solar because it was my job at the time. Hey, I loved it there, V, because they were
Hey,
so
country New
sound
South
and like they
Wales
were
is the
like my
best.
sort of people. So I was just rocking about. Yeah, I was rocking about me in flip flops, Panthers shorts,
Yeah,
and
you
like
would have
my
looked like a
solar
local.
polo. And I
Yeah.
was like getting sales left, right, and centre. Yeah, I was getting sales left, right, and centre. They were like, "Oh, what are you going in dab out?" I'm like, oh, "I'm selling solar, mate. Do you want
Yeah,
some?" And
plenty
they
of
were like,
sun out here.
"Oh yeah." So yeah, it's oh mate, it was one of the best people I've spoken to because my God, you had some sites out there, Dub Vegas. But yeah, so it's been a lovely little
Yes,
detour this
we've
last
covered
7 minutes of the
We've covered
podcast. If you're
solar
still
in
listening,
Dubbo.
it's probably been the
We've
best
covered
7 minutes
solar in
of the pod.
Dubbo. Schindler's List.
Covered Minecraft movie, international rugby league.
Apartheid. Yep.
It's been a whirl. It's
Yeah.
probably been the
So
best 7 minutes of the
if you
pod. We've done more. We've
if you
done more in
stuck
this
around this
7 minutes than
far,
we've done
Johnny
in the
will
last
sell you
hour.
solar at a discounted rate.
I won't. I'm now working on Leisure Centre, so
Sorry, guys.
nothing I can do, unfortunately. I might give you a free swim, you know. But this has been the Rugby League Pom-Cast. It's been me, Johnny, and Sam's been back this week. It's been a pleasure to have you back, Sam.
Good to be back.
And yeah, we will see you
Maybe
next
Thursday.
week.
We'll do a review.
Maybe an Origin special. Probably an Origin special. Yeah, maybe a Thursday. Thursday sounds good. I'm on an early then as well, so that's even better for me. Oh no, I'm not. I'm on a late. We'll sort something out. We'll do something. But this has been the Rambling. No, it's not been the Rambling Saints. This has been the Rugby League Podcast. Still getting used to the rebrand. And peace.